Welcome everybody to Cultivating Conversations. It's Farmer Jazz here, and today on Cultivating Conversations, we got a fantastic guest. His name is Harry Hemp of Hemp Homes, a sustainable builder using hemp. How you doing, Harry?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me here. I consider myself a natural builder that specifically likes to work with hemp lime, known as Hempcrete. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being on. I liked what you're doing with the hemp. I myself started a hemp farm during the pandemic in Iowa, where we grew for seed. We grew the hemp hearts. But one of the things that I feel like we missed out on was there was a lot of plant material that was left over just because we just harvested the seeds and left the rest to just decompose into the soil. And I feel like we missed out on that. That may be something that you could have probably made use of. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and the background and the company that you have?
Originally I grew up in New York on Long Island. After high school, I joined the Air Force and traveled with them. And it was when I was stationed in England, I was doing medical marijuana research, and then I stumbled upon hemp and started learning about what it was. I learned about Hempcrete, and I ordered the Hempcrete book by William Stanwyck. I started researching a lot into that and realized what we were missing out on and why we weren't building like this. I come from a building family, so I've always been around construction sites. So I knew, I had a background and understanding of how to build while I was learning it and like how we built with it. I was always the young one on the job site, so I always had to crawl in the attic in the dirty insulation, crawl on the all the tight spots in the house. So anyone that's worked with insulation, they know how horrible it is. So after my military career, I was a mechanic there. I was a diesel technician for a few years, and I've made enough money to start buying all the tools I needed to start a general contracting business. So I was 27 when that started, and I primarily focused on bathroom and kitchen remodeling because that's what I knew the most. And then I touched Hempcrete for the first time about 2.5 years ago. I bought some herd and binder from Cameron McIntosh of Amerishov. He's out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's where I was living. By Harrisburg area, Pennsylvania. And then he told me he was hosting a training course within a couple of weeks, so we kept in touch. I signed up for his training course for the E-Reezy spray system, learned how to use that system, and started networking with people that were in the hemp industry, the industrial hemp industry specifically, building with hemp. Then I got invited down to San Antonio's first hemp build, went there to pretty much lead the build. And then from there, I traveled to California, back and forth from the West Coast to the East Coast, stopping at other people's hemp projects that were going on, meeting with other hemp builders. Phelan, part of the hemp build, like his company's the hemp building company out in Colorado, worked with him. I got to work with William Stanwyck, the author of that book I mentioned earlier, in South Carolina. He's English, so he was hired to come over here and install hemp blocks and finish plaster. A job in South Carolina, I was able to get on there. I worked in Texas with a group called Texas Healthy Homes. Tim White has been a natural builder for 20 plus years and started getting into hemp building, I say, a couple of years ago. He's got quite a few projects under his belt. We did quite a few in Texas. Andrew Hancock, owner of Lime Life Construction, we did a hemp cabin there. Me personally, I partnered up with someone in California where I've been building a small unit, 10 by 12 unit for tiny housing, where our goal there is to have a nonprofit and have a food forest where we're building these units for our showroom for our California division to start building ADUs in California, and also then being able to house homeless veterans in those units to be able to take care of the food forest that we are currently developing. So I still travel around the country. I am in Florida right now working on a project with the DeVita blocks, which is out of Canada. And Dion Lefebvre is here. I'm working with him. So he's been in the hemp industry for, I think it was 14 years. So it's, it's really great. I've gotten to work with a lot of the experienced, like, builders, between Dion and William Stanwyck. I got to work with Anthony Heron, who's another Canadian, has been in the hemp industry building for 18 years. So, excuse me, I got to, work side by side with a lot of the pioneers of the industry, because this industry is, extremely new, but the building science behind it is not. We pretty much use a lime and a pozzolanic material, which lime is high calcium. It comes from limestone. It comes from the shells, in the ocean from clams and whatnot. It could be sourced virtually anywhere. And then the pozzolan is another mineral where it has an alkaline reaction with the lime, and it sets the lime up faster and harder, so it gives the lime for us better workability. And this is what the Romans used, to build their Colosseum, and for the Roman construction, it's called Roman concrete, and they use lime and volcanic ash mixed together. And quite frankly, we're still trying to figure out those formulas, but I would say we are building as close as we can to the Romans, which is really amazing. And as you said, you were growing hemp for the seed, and then left the rest of the plant to decompose and feed the soil, which is completely okay. Something that really turned me on to the industrial hemp plant is its whole plant use. So once you put the seed in the ground, it immediately starts remediating that soil. It's excellent rotation crop to drop nitrogen into your soil, and it actually absorbs heavy metals out of your soil and puts it back into carbon. So hemp grows extremely quick and fast and tall. It's one of the biggest biomass per acre plants on the planet. It is the planet's strongest natural fiber. So grown for seed, that seed could obviously be used for protein, animal feed. It could be pressed into oil. That oil could be thrown right into a diesel engine and ran off of it. So there's all those benefits of the seed, and that cake could be used for animal feed. So starting with just the feed, then that's a small percentage, I'll say 5% of the plant, and then 15% of the plant would be the fiber. And the fiber is the outside stalk, which has been used for ropes, canvases, sails, clothing. The word canvas actually derives from the word cannabis. Us as a civilization, humans have used the whole stalk cannabis plant for hundreds of thousands of years, really. It really started civilizations because it was food, clothing, shelter, everything you needed. And that leaves the herd left for us. We use it in building. You could use it in, it's like high cellulose, so you could use it in paper making. You could use it for. It's a great animal bedding. The French do use it right now for animal bedding. Like, there is a huge market. There's an industrial hemp market already in Europe, in Canada. So America really does have something to be able to mirror and look after, like look up to, and then be able to mimic here. So it's not like we're really reinventing the wheel, but we as an American economy do need to look at how these markets are successfully ran in other countries that are currently.
I definitely totally agree with you. It's not about recreating the wheel, and it sounds like you know a lot about hemp, which is fantastic. I'm definitely smiling ear from ear, just listening to you talk about the plant. Just because it sounds like you experienced a lot of similar stories that I came across. I'm also coming from a construction family. My granddad was a pipe fitter, and the rest of my uncles, they're pipe fitters and been in the 537 union in Massachusetts doing a lot of the big dig stuff. And I also got into hemp the same way that you did. I was looking into looking for supplements for anti-inflammatories. I was an athlete, was dealing with some issues with my knee. I dislocated my knee playing football, and had basically developed some like arthritis symptoms. And I've been on like a regimen of ibuprofen and Tylenol every day after working out to deal with that, and then ultimately developed some heartburn symptoms. And I just started to realize that this is not sustainable for me to continue to keep taking ibuprofen. And I also got kind of started getting turned off from taking pills, just with all the opioid issues that were going on. And ultimately led me to finding out about hemp. I started with the tinctures and learning about RSO, and trying out a bunch of different tinctures, and realized it actually started working. I had never seen like the bones in my knee like that since injuring my knee, but ever since I started using hemp oil to help with that, and it's been manageable and even better than it was before. But I want to hear more about what inspired your start to your journey in this field of hemp.
So, like I said, the first thing I was researching medical marijuana because my grandfather at the time had lung cancer, and I was in high school, I did use cannabis and smoked, so we all heard those rumors. So I started looking it up, and that's when I stumbled upon hemp and realized all the benefits of using it to build. I was currently living in a dorm room in the Air Force, which had black mold in it, and they weren't going to do anything to remediate it. So I saw that hemp has, a high alkaline wall system where mold can't grow. The hemp itself is antifungal. But then again, if you do mix it with mycelium, it is a great host for it. So it has all these great attributes to it. So what really... so like right then and there, my childhood dream was to be in the Air Force, and then I was there, and then I had what I call my adulthood dream. I was 20 years old when I started, 20 to 21 when I really started doing the research, and then I was like the birth of Harry Hemp, I would say.
Nice.
And then it just took me, my early 20s messing up a lot and realizing who I am as a person. Then I had to set myself up in the right career field really to learn and pursue what I'm doing now. And then, it's just the fact that hemp is super eco-friendly, sustainable. We could grow it. It's very healthy for our soil. It'll be very beneficial for our farmers. And then it's for the occupants, it's for it's healthy air. So you're not gonna, like, as of today, they build to keep the water out. Water is water, so it's gonna get anywhere water wants to go. So you see these buildings going up, they get framed, and a big rainstorm comes in, and then the next week, the roof goes on, and now you're running all the electric and stuff, and then putting up drywall, and those timbers aren't dried out, and that drywall is completely dry. So the drywall wants to absorb the moisture, and
Yeah, and I think that leads into my next question. Um, you say you work in construction. What's the difference between hempcrete and, say, a concrete? Like, what benefits does the hemp have over the concrete composites that we use now?
So, just a little separation. Like, we don't use any concrete at all or Portland in our hemp mixture, but we still need to use it for our foundation. Hemp, since it's natural, will start to naturally decompose when underground. So it is pretty much a living wall where you do need to have it above grade. And then, so comparing it to building with concrete. So building with concrete actually has an acidity to it. So cancer can't live in a high alkaline environment itself. So there's been actually study. There's a guy, Sergey, he's from Ukraine, and an engineer, been building with hemp for 10, 15 years, been in the industry. They did a study showing, once the Soviets came in and built a bunch of these apartment buildings out of concrete 30 years ago, and like within 30 years, the cancer rate skyrocketed. So that just shows, like, you're living in an environment that's not healthy for you. You're breathing in these toxins. You're breathing in these VOCs that off gas throughout the lifetime of these building products. So comparing, concrete is extremely strong, stronger than hempcrete for structural. Hemp is for insulation value only right now. We are working on structural block systems where you could, do away with the framing and stuff. So that's the future of where the industry's going.
It sounds like it's like a fusion of using some of the old materials with some of the new ones.
Well, no, it would still be hemp and a lime mixture.
Yeah.
It would. So we just like change up the lime formula and the ingredients of what we put, what we call hempcrete, what we would do for a normal hempcrete mix. But say if, something that's great about the concrete, also, like, concrete costs a lot of energy. It takes extreme amount of energy to mine, fire, produce concrete. So, that you do have to do that as well with lime, but it's fired at like 1,400 degrees compared to 2,600 degrees, which is a substantial amount of heat. And then all the, shipping and movement of it that has to go along with any product. That's called your carbon footprint. So there's a carbon footprint of all your materials that you use. But again, hemp, with the weight of hemp that you use, 44% of that is carbon. So that's all the carbon that the hemp has sequestered growing, and now you're locking it into your walls for hundreds of years. And if you do have a wildfire next to a concrete house and next to a hemp home, you're going to, both homes will be saved, but the structural integrity of the concrete will not be there. Since we do cast in place and wrap hemp around the studs and the framing, the integrity of the structure will still be sound after the fire is put out. We were actually just on a project my buddy Cameron McIntosh from Amerishov got a $1.9 million grant from the United States Army to build more, carbon conscious. And one of the tests we did was the ATMS fire test, where we heated up to 1700 degrees for 1 hour and see what happened. The wall survived. They had to, just for, the wall did not ignite. It charred. And just for the testing procedures, they had to, hose it down. And as they hosed it down, you could see the hemp did char, but it did not ignite. So, and also to the point where the studs were not, where the hemp was removed, you still couldn't see the studs. So that was very exciting news. It's definitely one of the first ATMS testing that we've done so far in America, and that's with the E-Reezy spray system. So they do have a proprietary binder mix that they use, that they formulated, because they do spray it wet, and it does need to be a bit lighter. With the cast in place, we do have a lot of leniency of the material that we use too. And then what we're doing here at this build is the block system, which I really enjoy as well, because that's all, mixed in off-site really. And then you could bring, you could teach, there's masons already out there. So wow. You could teach them how to install block.
It sounds like using some pretty resilient materials, and it sounds like there's a lot of R&D that goes along with that. Could you share some of the challenges that are faced with working with the hemp, and some of the builds that you've had, and what you learned from it?
The challenges so far we've had, since we're still a brand new company, a brand new industry, we're still importing hemp from overseas. We're importing material where we don't have an American structure to be able to support that industry. So that's why we still need to continue to import. The facilities out there today, they are producing good material. There needs to really be a product for them to really be sustainable and stay open, really. So not having a market for it is an issue. And then, like, you were growing the hemp for the seed, like, we need more of that, because then it will drop the price of the herd for us. Like, people are just growing the hemp for the herd currently, and like, we really need to, and the price is around 50 up to 65 more cents a pound, and really we need to get that down to, theoretically 10-15 would be ideal, but 30 is the going rate. That would really make a difference, and it would be a waste. It's agricultural waste at that point. So we're taking a waste product and putting it into a home, not just any home, a healthy hemp home that will last hundreds of years. And your walls are going to be protecting you from, there's electromagnetic frequencies that block. So you'll be safe from, I know a lot of people that are super sensitive to those and get headaches and stuff. So you're going to be in a natural environment. You're going to have those, your walls are a natural negative ion generator. So it's cleaning the wall. It's cleaning the air that does get in.
Wow, but, it sounds like you got like breathing walls going on there. Like the walls.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that's what the hemp walls do. They breathe. They're vapor permeable. Like I was saying before, water's going to get in wherever it goes. Water gets in these hemp homes. They're going to be dissipated and spread out through the lime. The lime will reactivate, recrystallize, and actually get harder. So, you get water in these homes, you're gonna just make it stronger. My buddy Dion here, his home was on fire, and the hemp was actually producing CO2 in the air, which was actually battling the fire. And with that fire, the hemp actively fought. It burned for 7 hours in one room, and then he was able to go put it out, and then he actually made those hemp balls stronger. And then our friend Gail, she did her house in a flood zone, and all her neighbors flooded and her house flooded, and it dried out, and no mold issues. The walls got stronger. Like it's a solution for a lot of problems in different areas. That it's all.
Well, that kind of leads me into the next question. I know you said that there's a tough. You guys are having a tough time with like finding the market, but of those clients that you do have, what are some of the responses from the clients that go with the hemp instead of the way we've been building today?
Oh, they love it. There's no better feeling than stepping into a hemp home. That energy you feel, that coolness. Usually the customers know about hemp before reaching out to finding a builder, because they do their own research. So it's been a difficult task to be able to convert conventional people. Like, oh, you're building a house. Have you thought about building with hemp? And like, people are scared of the unknown, and like hemp has been demonized, radicalized as the devil's lettuce, and it's we're in the age of education and communication, really. So I do believe more and more people are doing, obviously, their own education, their own communicating with the experts, and coming to their own conclusions. And that's how we get customers, is they hear about it and they do their own research. Like me personally, I've been pretty much my own marketer, salesperson, and worker. That's what it takes to be an entrepreneur and start up a business. But having people like actively sell and go into these developments, and trying to get a small percentage of them, trying to convert people over to building natural. I know global warming has been a huge, has been thrown in the political arena. So, there is the fact of the matter. You cut down a tree, you're going to make that spot a hotter spot. The tree has thermal mass to it. It has the shade. It obviously is cooler than no tree. So we cut down all these trees, and like those spots are obviously getting hotter.
I'm glad you started to bring up trees, because I know in the construction market there's a lot of use of lumber. How has the construction industry felt about receiving hemp as a new form of construction material? Is that something that's received well in the industry, or is there pushback still on it just because it's new? Can you expand on that?
Yeah, there's definitely pushback. That's one of my biggest fears, is like converting contractors now today, general contractors, builders, developers, because they already have their system that makes them money. So it's really coming down to the individual, who you are as a person, what your morals are, what you respect and what you love. If you're okay building with bullshit materials, and it's coming from petrol based products, where everything is with the oil companies. So it's like, well, why can't we do it more local and use local materials and natural building materials that we did hundreds of thousands of years ago, like we could prove our point that there's these units still standing. We're going to be coming out with more proven tests just to show you, like, hey, look at this product. Like the people in the ATSM testing room, they were blown away with the product. Being there, I'm looking around at all the other building materials that are there. This was the only one that you light a match to it, it's not going to cause you cancer. And it's everywhere. It's not just your housing material. It's your food. It's your medicine. Like you were saying, you big pharma. You don't want to be taking those pills on the regular. You want to find something more natural, which is how our bodies are supposed to work. So we start introducing these foreign synthetic things to our bodies, they're gonna, our bodies are gonna get sick. It doesn't know what to do with all of it, and it does cause cancer. It does cause illnesses. So it's gonna be a big leap of faith to get a majority of the contractors to switch. But I have met one already, which I've met one, so that makes me very, very excited because, if you could do one, you could do another. And this guy's been building for 20, 30 years. And once he touched Hempcrete, he doesn't want to go back. So, and like, that's
amazing. So with that being said, are there any research programs and any universities? I know that you kind of need a proof of concept to kind of push to the new contractors. Is there any research that's out there that people can look into? Like, what type of resources are you leaning on to kind of validate the strength and the resilience of hemp when it comes to construction?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a bunch of European studies that have already been done already. We are catching up as the United States, so like I said, the Europeans have done it. We're not reinventing the wheel. There are and is data out there. It is in the IRC, so it's like, we just have to resort back to the International Residential Code, which is the code that you have to follow for buildings. So we're in there already. So it's not like we do have to get it state by state and county to county, city to city. Like each planner or engineer for the government is different. So I've had real big issues in San Diego City, and then I had really excited people in Ohio that oh yeah, we should be building more of these. And it's like I say, it comes down to really the type of person who you are, what your morals are, what you love and respect.
What I know you started to mention some of the areas. What are the more friendly states that kind of behind the hemp concrete and the hemp construction? Are there any states in the United States that
No, let me just it is not hemp concrete. That's where
sorry.
Even Hempcrete gives it like that.
I said hemp construction.
Okay, all right, yeah. Sorry, I was getting on a call, but even the Hempcrete is misleading. It's been named it, so we do like to refer at hemp lime because it is hemp and lime, and that's pretty much what you're building with. But that's goes back and forth. But some of the states, like I said, California was going to be an issue just because the seismic zones. It's only really San Diego that's really given me that much of an issue. So I have the people here in Florida. They waited the They went to get the plans approved and they denied them. They said, well, it's coming out January 1st, I believe it was. And then they said, all right, well, here's the plans, and they got approved. And the inspector comes by, has no idea what they're looking at because it's something new to them. But then, once we explain it to them, they get excited and they understand. It's you do for people that do look at it and understand what we're doing and why we're doing it the way we're doing it. They have that oh shit moment of, oh wow, why we should build more of these.
Oh, that's good to hear that there's some traction going on with that. I got a few more questions for you before we wrap up. One of my last questions is, what are some of your goals for the future of your business, and how do you see the role of hemp evolving in the construction industry?
Some of my goals for hemphomes.com would be to continue travel around and provide people with custom hemp homes that they want. When I don't have work, we have started our own projects, so I would like to have a nonprofit for the food forest and housing homeless veterans. And then, I see the market nothing but rising, really. There's more and more people gaining, like you said, traction on it. There's more and more people wanting builds. More people are reaching out to me, as the days go by. I do think it's, helpful with forums like this, so I definitely appreciate inviting me here. But, yeah, it's continue spreading the education and showing people and, sharing the word, really. And, eventually we'll be able to make, bigger impact than we are now. And like I said, these units are going to last forever. They're going to outlast our lifetimes, our children's lifetimes, their children's lifetimes. And it's going to be healthy materials. So it's, I know everyone knows someone that has dealt with a mold issue in their house. There's not going to be mold. Someone has known someone that has a fire in their house. It's fire resistant. It just knocks off so many different things off a list with one thing where, it's obviously to me a no-brainer. I'm extremely biased on the topic, as you can tell.
You definitely don't have to sell me on it. I'm definitely an advocate for hemp homes and construction with hemp. And my last question to you is, what message or piece of inspiration would you like to share with our viewers who are passionate about sustainability and innovation in their own careers?
I would say keep on going. I would continue learning, never stop learning, continue networking, reaching out, making, putting yourself in uncomfortable positions to learn. I've been grateful enough to be able, it's just me and my dog, so that's my responsibility. So I'm able to travel around. So travel I think is very important. And getting the actual experience, doing what you talk about. One of my favorite quotes, Benjamin Franklin, is "Well done is better than well said." Because, we could talk about these ideas all day long, but you actually have to do it for it to happen. So, just keep on pushing forward, keep learning, and keep spreading the education as you do.
Wow, that's a good one right there. Well done is better than well said. This has been a good interview and good conversation, man. I really am inspired by what you're doing. Definitely after this interview, we'd definitely love to tap in with you a little bit more. But if there's anything you want to plug, any website where people can come check you out, social media, feel free to do that right now.
Yeah, so my Facebook name is Harry Hemp. On Instagram, I'm Harry Hemp 3. And then we do host a Natural Build Guild chat every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. That's on Twitter or X. We started off in Clubhouse, and so we're trying to move to a different platform, and we're in that transition now. We're getting good traction there. So,
Nice.
yeah, if you could give those, like, follow, and share. I would definitely like to come back and talk with you again and share updates because I've only tapped into a little bit of what we're doing, so I'd like to share my updates as we go along. So we got another 2 to 3 weeks at this project till it's wrapped up, and then I'm off to Texas for another project, and then California for another one. So hopefully we could connect again and be able to talk about this some more.
Definitely. Thank you for coming on. This has been Cultivating Conversations with your boy Farmer Jazz and Harry Hemp. Keep on doing the good work. Love what you're doing. Very inspiring. Thank you for coming on.